Good morning, good evening, and good everything in between. Welcome to the podcast. It's our first week of August. I'm your host, Jim Bobernicki, and I'm joined as always by Mr. Gabe Lerman. How you doing, Gabe?
Tired for some reason. Not because I've been staying up to watch Pacific League TV. I wish I had. I just been getting rough sleep lately. I gotta fix that.
Oh, that's unfortunate. I am on the opposite end of the spectrum now that I'm not doing overnight shift anymore. I've been finally sleeping like a normal person, and it rules. But I
I
am
can
also
believe it.
tired. And we're joined also by, as always, by Mr. Michael Beasley. How you doing, Mike?
I'm tired because I did stay up way too late to watch baseball. Watched the start of the Koshin tournament.
Yeah, I was gonna say I just realized today, like right before we started recording, that the Koshian started. So I will also be having some sleepless nights soon, watching some good, very good high school baseball. You see anything cool so far?
There was a game last night or this morning that ended on a botched double play call by the umpire.
Ooh,
And
spicy.
I don't think it's going to bring replay to Koshin. It'll be centuries before they allow that, but I have been seeing a lot of talk about it because it was a pretty bad botch call.
Man, and like you think about how emotional and how highly like strung the Koshian is, man. Like imagine being a senior and your like career ends on a ooh, oh man, my God, I actually just like got like a tremble thinking about that. That's heartbreaking.
For those of you listening who aren't familiar with this, Kolchien refers to the National High School Baseball Tournament, which has been running for over a century. It's the reason Hanshin Kolchien Stadium was built in the first place, not the pro team. They get kicked out every August and have to play in the Buffalo's home park of Kyocera Dome. Picture March Madness, but for an entire 2 or 3 weeks, and it's single elimination baseball tournament. Like, this is the stuff mangas are written about. This is the stuff legends are written about. It's where your next favorite NPB player is going to come from. Mark my words.
Yeah, it's March Madness meets Texas high school football meets like the World Series. Like it's the biggest sporting event in Japan every year, as far as I understand. And again, and it's just high school kids, which is crazy, right? And so we will be kind of covering that a little bit, like we did last year. We'll kind of chime in, check out some stuff that's going on, let you know if there's anything really spectacular going on. But we are also going to do a little touch in this week, now that we're really at the halfway point of the season, to do our own personal halfway through the season awards. So let's see what we have here for MVP. I don't know about you guys. For me, I think it's very obvious. It's Mr. Kensuke Kondo of the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks. I can't even think of who else you could possibly pick. He's been far and away the best player all year long for the Hawks and for all of not just the Pacific League. I'd say in all of MPB. He is the king right now. What about you, Gabe? Who's your MVP?
You could make a down ballot case for Chusei Manami, but no, it's Kondo. Of course, it's Kondo.
Yeah, Monami's having like if we were doing like breakout player of the year, I'd say maybe even while he was mine last season, he's kind of been having like a breakout year again. What about you, Mike?
I don't think there's any choice other than Kondo personally.
Yeah, he's the only player in both leagues hitting above 300 right now. And it's not just like he's batting 303. He's like 327, I think, which is like crazy that no one else is even in within 15 points of him. It's nuts. And so let's see what we have next. I think we're going to go pitcher of the year. Try not to be too much of a homer, but for me, I'm going to go with Lee Van Moinello, again, of the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks. Again, having one heck of a breakout season. Hawks fans were a little concerned. How's he going to transition from the bullpen to the starting role? He's done that and more. And again, he's having the best season of his career, absolutely cutting it up. ERA under 2, among the lead leaguer in strikeouts, has had a couple of bids where he's gotten to like 7 innings without hits. He's just destroying the league right now. What about you, Mike?
I mean, I'd have to go with Moinello as well, just because, like you said, ERA under 2. That's pretty amazing. And then he was a reliever for the majority of his career, wasn't he?
That's
Yeah,
right.
exactly. Yeah, he was the setup man for the past couple seasons. And so when they announced that he's going to be going from doing 1 inning to just doing full games, I was really concerned about how that would go. But he's definitely waylaid those concerns. What about you, Gabe?
I'm going to go down ballot here. Kohei Arihara. I mean, yes, his ERA is a full zero point 0.6 runs worse than Moinello, but he's also been more effective in terms of the games he's pitched. He hasn't gotten his 18th start of the season yet, but 2 complete games, 1 shutout, He's not striking out as often, but he's also not walking as many players.
Yeah, Idahata was actually definitely in like my top three, and I think he's having sort of like the best. I don't know if it's the best season of his career, but he's having one of the best seasons of his career, and that's saying something because he used to be a really good pitcher for the Fighters for a few years. So I've been really, obviously as a Hawks fan, super happy to have both of them. Now for Rookie of the Year, I'm going to not pick a Hawk. I'm actually going to go with my Saitama Seibu Lions, go with Natsuki Takeuchi. Again, I'm not even sure who second place would be because he would even be in the discussion of best pitchers of the year so far, and he's a rookie. So I think that's a slam dunk for Rookie of the Year. What about you, Gabe?
Yeah, it's tough to really say. Nobody else really leaps out other than Takeuchi. Credit to him.
Yeah, for sure. And what about you have anything, Mike?
I haven't really been following the rookies too closely this year, but I mean, his name does come up quite a lot, and he has been really good. So I mean, I would probably have to go with that.
Yeah, fair enough. And for Gaijin of the Year, for pitcher, it's kind of obviously Moinello again for me. So I then also kind of was looking for who might be the Gaijin hitter of the year, and this was the closest one. I really put a lot of thought into this. I had three guys on a short ballot who I compared, and in the end, I'm going with Neftali Soto. He's really just come up really big for the Fighters really often. Like he either strikes out or knocks runs in. It's no one or the other. And he is leading the league in strikeouts, but he is also among the league leader in offensive categories too. So why not go with Soto? What about you, Mike?
Yeah, I would have to go with Soto. I think the one thing that really helps him is that he's been in the league for so long at this point. I think 2018 was his first year, and that was back with Yokohama. So he's been in Japan. He's used to living in Japan and the lifestyle and the culture that comes with it. And I think in order to succeed on the field, you have to adapt yourself to everything off the field. And, Soto has made it clear he's committed to playing there. And I think it really shows, on the field. His power is not what it was for, those first 2 or 3 years he was with Yokohama, where it was like 40, 50 home run seasons. But even if he's not hitting the ball out literally every time, he's driving in runs, he's moving runners. I feel as though none of his outs are really wasted. Like I've even honestly on some of his strikeouts, I swear to God, somehow like they're always stealing bases when he's up to bat. Like I think everything he's done this year has been really far and away productive, even if he's not putting up those 40 home run seasons again.
Yeah, that's fair. It's funny. Yeah, the idea of having productive strikeouts, like just getting your body in the way of the catcher.
It's ridiculous, but I swear he's doing it.
He's a big guy. And what about you, Gabe? Who's your Gaijin of the year?
I'm going to go down ballot again. Andres Machado off the Buffaloes. I mean, yes, Moinello, we have already established, is among the best pitchers in Japan. But I feel like because he is a development prospect, like he didn't come over as an established player, it's because Japan and Cuba have this incredibly close relationship. That's how Despine showed up. That's how Gracial showed up. Gee, both of those guys wound up in with the Hawks. That's why I'm thinking Moinello. For some reason, I have him in a different category in my mind than Andres Machado, who has done sterling work as the new closer for the Buffaloes. How does this sound? 39 and 2/3 innings, 1.82 ERA, 12 holds, 17 saves, 42 strikeouts against only 9 runs allowed, 8 of them earned. 1 home run.
Oh yeah, no, that is crazy impressive. And it's funny you mentioned that because he was actually sort of in my thinking too, but I just kind of went with Moinello. But I do actually get what you mean by Moinello. Kind of feels a bit more like a foreign domestic product, if that makes any sense.
He's a blend.
Yeah. And do you have anyone for hitter? Does anyone jump out at you?
I mean, you guys already took Neftali Soto, so I'll just run with that.
Well, the guys I was looking at next to Soto were Polanco, who's right up there with Soto in terms of like power production numbers. He just doesn't quite have the same amount of RBIs and total bases.
At one point, Polanco had a string where the 5 previous hits he had were home runs. He's giving you power, and that's it.
That's true. Yeah, he did get a quarter of his home runs in a week. But also Ariel Martinez, I think, deserves a little shout out. He's been really, really solid this year. And so that brings us over to, we're going to take just a quick little break here before we get into the Around the Horn segment. We will rejoin you in just a second.
Hear me, good people of the baseball world. The major leagues have forsaken good taste and linen quality with their most recent uniforms, especially the pants. We can't show children this sport with everyone exposing their undergarments. Spare yourself and your virgin eyes by switching to Pacific League TV. No blackouts, no advertisements, no tissue paper trousers. Just $10 per month for all the good, clean baseball you could ask for. Visit PacificLeague.com today to sign up. Pacific League TV, the last bastion of decency in baseball.
And so that brings us around to our Around the Horn segment, the main part of the show where we look at every team in the league from top to bottom and see how they've been doing this week. And of course, as usual, we start off with the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks, whose magic number is 36, I believe. That means 36 wins until they are a lock for the pennant, and they are plodding along 4-2 since we last spoke, including a very exciting hard-fought series win against the Hokkaido Nippon Ham Fighters. Could be a climax series preview, and man, it was one heck of a series. I think every game decided by 1 or 2 runs late in the game. Super fun baseball. I think the series I watched most kind of so far this season because the way works worked out for me, but man, I had a great time watching that. And also, little shout out to my favorite shortstop, sorry Genda, Kenta Imamiya is now tied with Kazuo Matsui for the most games played by a shortstop in Pacific League history. I've seen some weird.
He already beat him.
He beat him? Okay, there it is. I kept seeing, I saw one story said he tied him. I saw one story said he beat him. And then I had
you will note those are on different days, Jimbo.
Well, no, because I'm telling you.
Dang, time be moving forward and stuff.
Entirely different numbers on how many games he played. So it really confused me. Like I said, he's had an amazing career. The Oita native has spent his entire 14 years with the Hawks, winning 6 Japan Series titles, including 1 Japan Series MVP, or was it a Climax Series MVP? Anyway, he's had some good postseasons, and he's a 6-time All-Star and still going strong at 33 years of age. Like we see in Japan, a lot of guys play until they're 40, so I hope he sticks around because I think, the Pacific League shortstop class is stacked, and I think a lot of people turn to Gendo when they think about the best defensive shortstops. But man, Imami is right up there. You look at his highlights, and he's a superstar. And he's also better offensively than Gendo. So hats off to him, my captain. Well, not the captain, Wiyuki Narita. But yeah, still very happy for that for him.
I mean, Imamiya has set the Pacific League record for most games played at shortstop. The overall NPB record is still 500 games away, and it's held by an active Giants player, Hayato Sakamoto, the legend himself.
Oh, if you didn't say active, I'd say Imamiya could break that. But no, if he's active, that's going to be a lot harder to break.
Yeah.
And so that brings us over to our second place team, the Chiba Lotte Marines. Take it away, Mike.
So for the Marines, they're 7-3 in their last 10, so doing really well right now. 2 games up on the Fighters and 10 back of the Hawks. Roki Sasaki is finally back. In his first start, he went 5 innings and got 3 Ks, allowed 1 earned run, and only had 1 walk. So not as many strikeouts as we're used to, but take it easy. Guys just coming back from whatever the injury was. I don't remember at this point. I feel like it's been a million years since he pitched. But speaking of good pitching, there was a nice outing today from CC Mercedes. 2 runs, 4 Ks over 5 innings as Lotte beat the Hawks 6-2. When you guys were talking earlier about good foreign pitcher of the year, Mercedes did cross my mind for a second just because he's been so good for the Marines. I believe we were talking about him having issues with run support pretty much all the time. So he got the win in that game, thankfully. But Mercedes is really good for the Marines. And some bad news, Ayamu Ishikawa has been deregistered. He was deregistered on August 3rd. And hopefully they're just resting him and he's not injured again, maybe just taking it slow so that he did a couple of starts, getting back in rhythm and everything, because it had been over a year since he had started for the first team. So hopefully he's just taking it slow, because he had been doing really well for them. But he'll be eligible to return after August 13th.
Yeah, back on Mercedes for a sec. I think he's one of the more underappreciated players in the whole league. He's a stud. I would love to have him on the Hawks. But
I feel like his name just doesn't come up enough, honestly. He's just really good, and he's just quietly being one of the best or better foreign pitchers in the league right now.
And so that brings us over to our third place team, the Hokkaido Nippon Ham Fighters. Take it away, Gabe.
Third place and gaining 4-2 in their last 6, and they won the series against Rakuten already. The rubber match goes tomorrow. Thursday, August 8th, when this actually gets released. The first of this 3-game set saw Chusei Manami slug a 10th inning grand slam off the normally sturdy Eagles closer Takahiro Norimoto. So things are coming up fighters lately. I like it. Among those driving the fighters forward, infielder Kotaro Kiyomiya. His OPS was 1.135 for July. So at time of writing, he's sitting at a 267, 350, 467 slash line. If you add his bat, along with Martinez and Manami and Matsumoto and Mizutani, and Franmil doesn't have an M in there, but we'll make it work. The fighters are suddenly looking really, really good.
Yeah, I on that Hawks series I was watching, Kiyomiya was just bashing the ball around the field, and makes me super happy. I mean, he's someone I'm always pulling for and always keeping an eye on. And I really want to see him have the kind of career we projected he would have coming out of high school.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Koshien heroes, nice
Yeah,
tie-in.
seriously.
Congratulations and bonsai to reliever Naoki Miyanishi for becoming the first NPB player to earn 400 career holds. He got the milestone hold on August 4th in Fukuoka. Over his 17 seasons in Japan, all of those with Hokkaido Nippon Ham, he's pitched 717 and 2/3 innings with 653 strikeouts and an ERA of 2.48. A legendary bridge to the Darvish and Otani eras, still pitching for the fighters. I don't want to call him a fossil, but dang, that's one heck of an accumulator career.
I was going to say fossil endearingly, elder statesman.
Yeah, fossil, complimentary. Also on the pitching front, Shona Kanemura has qualified for the ERA title after yesterday's 9 innings of one-run work in Sendai and sits second behind Moinello now with a 2.03 ERA over 22 games. Keep in mind he was promoted from the bullpen, so he's got more innings than some other starters. That makes him, Takayuki Kato, Hiromi Ito, and Sachia Yamasaki all in the top 10. No other team has more than 2. Less good news. Former closer Seiji Tanaka has been deregistered from the top club as of yesterday. That means he'll be spending 10 days or more on the farm to recombobulate. I guess his play of late has been concerning. It's an open question on who's going to close next for the fighters. Could be Toshihiro Sugiura, who's got a 2.05 ERA in 26 innings pitched, or the setup man Ryusei Kawano and his 1.60 ERA over 27 holds. I was seeing some chatter on Twitter saying that it's one thing that the fighters are missing to become a truly dominant team, and that's a dominant closer. Arguably, yeah, it's been a weak spot for the club for a while. I thought they had it in Seiji Tanaka. Clearly, the Brain Trust thinks differently.
And so that brings us over to our 4th place team in the league, the Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles. Take it away, Mike.
All right, so for the Eagles, they are 4-6 in their last 10, so not the best, but certainly not the worst. 4 games back of a playoff spot right now. Masahiro Tanaka has returned to the mound after 4.5 months on the sidelines. He pitched in a practice game today against Fuji University in Sendai, so he's making progress towards a return. He did take the mound back in March, and then I believe he was quickly deactivated after that. He pitched 1 inning, allowed 2 hits and 2 runs while pitching against University. His fastball topped out at 90 miles per hour, and he's still trying to make a return to the main Rakuten team this season. And interestingly enough, that was something that was included in the article I was reading. He says he has no plans on retiring just yet. So he says he plans to pitch for a very long time. So hopefully he can get everything back together, and that'd be fun to see. He's currently 3 wins away from a combined 200 wins between Japan and the U.S., so hopefully he gets there this season. And the only other thing I have is congrats to veteran infielder Toshiki Abe for becoming the 47th player in NPB history to hit a home run against every single team. His second inning home run off Lions Sugai on August 4th was the last one that he needed, and he's been efficient with them too because he's only had 44 home runs over his whole career, which is kind of interesting.
Wow, that's actually really cool. That's some good math right there.
And also, I believe he has the award for the longest at bat ever in a midnight matinee or breakfast baseball for breakfast.
Oh gosh, God. I remember that one. That was what, like 14 pitches, 17?
And Abe fouls it back again in garbage time. I want to go to bed.
And so that brings us over to the 5th place team in the league, the Oryx Buffaloes. Take it away, Gabe.
The losing streak went 10 games, the first one that long in over a decade, but now it has ended. Phew, we can put it to bed. Buffaloes are 3-3 since we last saw them. 2 of those wins were over the Lions over the last couple of games. And we've mentioned before how Yuma Tongu has been rather lost at the plate this season. Earlier today, he was indeed deregistered. He's slashing 195, 306, 305 this season after winning the batting title last year. It's rough. And I think you can point to that as one reason why the Buffaloes have skittered down the standings to the point where I don't think they're really in the postseason conversation anymore.
It would be hard. It's not impossible, but it'd be rough.
4 back of the Eagles, 8 back of the Fighters, 10 back of the Marines. Still 14 and a half up on the Lions.
Yep.
And taking Tongu's place on the roster, former Houston Astro, Marwin Gonzalez. Although really it's Ryo Ota getting playtime at first base. So Gonzalez will probably take over at second.
And so that brings us over to there've only been 2 consistents all year round. I'm pretty sure every episode we got the Hawks on top and our Saitama Seibu Lions down in the bottom, down in the doldrums, the basement, the pits of the Pacific League. 2-4 since we last spoke, and 2's bigger than 0. So that's something we can work with, I guess. Not really much I could find other than they still haven't beaten the Marines, which now brings the Marines' record winning streak to 14 games against the Lions. That's great. But, a little bit of news. I found out that their English ticketing site is finally up. So if you'd like to go see what I would assume might be a pretty decently priced ticket to watch a baseball game, you can head down to the Ballooner Dome and check out the Lions. I would actually genuinely love to do that. That sounds awesome. Like, every time I still watch a game. One of the things I love about Japanese baseball, the Lions are having probably their worst season ever, right? Like, it's definitely
the worst one since they came to Saitama. That's true.
Yeah. And but you watch the games, there's still people there. It's not like the Expos or the Marlins, where just people stopped coming completely.
Or the Athletics.
Yeah, exactly.
How many fan bases can we spray with bullets tonight?
Well, I mean, I started it with Expos. I can say whatever I want after that.
Okay, that's
or the
fair.
Rays.
Oof. But yeah, I mean, the Lions are still getting support. They're still trying. I mean, they're still out there trying. I don't even know who's playing for them anymore. I think they're just fielding the farm team. They're just like, all right, put the kids out there, see who's got something. Which really makes me wonder why they haven't called up. I don't think they've called up that stud, that super tall, that Japanese
Shinnosuke Hada. No, they already called him up.
Have they? Okay.
I think they sent him back down again.
Whatever.
Because I mean, the pitching rotation is the strong part of this Lions team. Let's not forget.
That's true. Yeah, I didn't see him play yet, so
don't rush him. There's a couple of clips on this very YouTube channel. Look up Japanese Randy Johnson.
Oh, there we go. Okay, I should do that. But yeah, that's kind of all I got for the Lions, unfortunately.
I can keep selling on Japanese baseball. I just had a friend over there. I bought her tickets to a game. She gets it now. She said the food, the girls toting the beer kegs on their backs that serve you at their seat, the cheer sections, and the price. Like, I got her infield seats for about 50 Canadian dollars.
Wow, that's wild. Yep.
If you can afford to get to Japan, the baseball experience is like nothing in North America. It is miles better. Go book your tickets and then visit the Lions website to get your tickets in English. Or the Hawks. The Hawks are selling theirs through Klook. The Buffaloes use CN Play Guide, and they have theirs on that's decently machine translatable. I think the Eagles website is machine translatable as well. Marines, still Japanese only for now. Fighters, you can't even get in North America, so just show up at the box office for them.
Oh, nice little impromptu ticket buying guide by Gabe there. I cannot wait until I have the money and the time to head to Japan and do that, and I will one day. Oh yeah, Mike, just to give you a little bit of perspective, 50 Canadian dollars is like
40 US
in America, I think.
A marble, yes.
Yeah.
Ooh, is it shiny?
No,
Oh,
not for $50.
50 bucks or 50 Canadian dollars, you're getting a used marble.
oh. Speaking of the good food there, one of the games that I went to on my trip, my brother, he just disappeared, and I guess this shows how good of a older brother I am. But I was like, oh, okay, he disappeared. Then he came back with a big thing of loaded fries from the food court, and he didn't know how to ask for a fork for these loaded fries, so he was just eating loaded fries in his baseball seat like a gremlin with his hands.
Are loaded fries like poutine?
It had like bacon, cheese. It
Chili
was
cheese fries, like, yeah.
yeah, it was like
Okay.
anything you can think of were on these fries, and you really should have had a fork.
Hell yeah, that sounds
He just
awesome.
didn't know how to ask for one.
Also
So
sounds like poutine, be real.
I mean, it might be just without the gravy for all I know.
Oh, no, gravy. Okay, sorry. I thought there was gravy. Whenever I picture anything on fries, gravy is like the baseline I start at. But so that brings us over to our question of the day. If you could take any player from an MLB team and put them on your favorite MPB team to shore up a weakness, or maybe you just think it'd be fun, who would you pick? Gabe, let's start with you. Who do you have in mind?
So credit to Sean Spradling for this topic on Twitter. He's who I picked this up from. I said I want to see the Oakland Athletics closer Mason Miller come out of the Hokkaido Nipponham Fighters dugout or bullpen with aura just pouring off his shoulders. The Fs desperately need an FU closer. That's who I'm going to go with.
Yeah, that's pretty good. What about you, Mike?
So I'm gonna go with less of the like the fantasy route, and I looked at the list of MLB free agents, players that are still unsigned, and I'm gonna kind of go with Kyle Lewis actually because like seems like he's been given up on. I don't know what's going on with him in the majors, but he is young enough that I think you could get a lot of mileage out of him. You can help him figure it out. He's currently 28, and he did win Rookie of the Year in 2020 for with the Mariners. So I think that would be a good reach to try on. Other than that, maybe, get a pitcher like Vince Velasquez, or hey, maybe even give Madison Bumgarner another chance. He's
No,
not
hey,
retired yet.
that'd be fun. But you can't have him bat. That's part of the appeal with Bad Bum, man. You want to get him in at bat, you know?
Just remove the DH spot. You'll be fine.
Fair enough. For me, I'm probably gonna go. I don't really watch the majors anymore. I'm trying to figure out. I don't really know who like a good second baseman or catcher is, but I've heard this Nolan Arenado guy is pretty good. I've seen a lot of highlights of him. Even though I feel bad because Kurihara is having an amazing season at third base.
Yeah, you'd really replace Ryoya, or would you put him
That's
like
the thing.
DH?
Like I was looking at his stats today, and I was like, "Damn, he's really tearing it up." Actually, I don't know good second baseman. Like who would you suggest? How about that? Who would you suggest would be the best second baseman for the Hawks to pick up?
Bo Bichette from the Blue Jays and move him off shortstop.
There's that kid in Kansas City, Bobby
Oh,
Witt.
Bobby Witt Jr. Oh, of course.
Yeah. If he can play second, that'd be fun. That'd be real good. That's how I know a player's good now. When even I've heard of them, that guy must be really good. Oh wait a minute, isn't that kid from Baltimore second base, Jackson Holiday or whatever?
Gunnar Henderson is a third baseman, I think.
Oh, there you go. Anyway, lots of fun options. Not a lot of holes on the Hawks. I would love like somebody like a Mookie Betts, but like we're good in the outfield. And again, I mean, put him at second. That could work. Anyway, yeah, our fantasy booking, we digress. As always, thank you ever for watching. We had a great time talking to you, and check us out next week and check out the action on Pacific League TV, and we'll talk to you again next week. Take care.